Hello, hello, and good morning. Unfortunately, guys, there's some event going on, and it's gonna ruin my recording. But nothing's gonna stop me from reviewing this GT2 today. So, how should we do this? Let's just have a quick look around. Leather seats instead of the fabric, like on the GT3. Let's have a look at the engine, shall we? It's a very special treat. It's not every day you get to drive one of these. A pristine GT2. Absolutely pristine. But there is one thing that I have to warn you guys. That is, we just took this car out on a track day, and if you have a look at the rear tires, oh my gosh, it's basically gone. Looks like it has cancer. So let's look at the other side. Oh my gosh, that's not good. That is not good. But you know, we're just gonna drive it for a bit for this video. It should be okay. It should hold up. Damn noisy though. I don't know what's going on out there. Oof. You know, your typical 996 in here. I still remember the first time I ever drove a 996. It was my friend's Turbo S. The same guy who owns this beautiful car. And I feel like this GT2 is finally the end of my 996 journey. I started off, the first car that I drove, like I said, was the Turbo S. And because of driving that, I then seeked out to buy a C2, a 996.2 C2. After having owned it for 1 year, I later purchased the GT3. And now finally I get to drive the GT2. I don't own this car, this is my friend's car. But I feel like I sort of have done a full circle with the 996 journey. And what better way to end it than in a GT2? So let's switch over to the dash cam, the POV cam, and we can talk about how it drives. Let's get the engine up. Low fuel. A much more subdued start compared to the GT3, and that's to be expected because this is a twin turbocharged beast. Just a beautiful example of the GT2. Everything is pristine in here. The leather on this seat has aged nicely. It's just beautiful. It smells great. It smells better than the GT3 because of the leather interior. One thing that I would like to point out, I know I've already made several 996 videos, but I never did notice that these cars actually have a coin holder. So I'm gonna try to show you by taking a footage on my phone. Oops. Look at that. The little slots for putting coins. Hugely impractical, but you know, it's always nice to discover something new about these cars. Alright, so let's get going. As you know me, I don't like to talk too much about specs. I just want to talk about how these cars drive. I'm sure you can look it up yourself, the specifications of this car, the technical aspects. But I do want to mention that one of these cars are very rare. It's like less than 1,000 of these worldwide or something like that, especially in right-wheel drive. In right-hand drive, not right-wheel drive. in right-hand drive form, these things are almost like unicorns. So just gotta emphasize how lucky I am to be able to drive one of these for a few days, let alone on the track. When we get rolling, as we're rolling now, it really doesn't feel way too different from the GT3. On the track, in the video that I made the other day, I mentioned I couldn't really feel the difference of the extra width of the car. But once we're going slowly, like on the road, you could really feel that, okay, this car is indeed wider than the GT3. It has more road presence. And that could be a bad thing, and it could be a good thing. But I think on the road, I do prefer the narrow body more. And then this engine, it once again, because it's turbocharged, you do feel like it's slightly more insulated, slightly less talkative compared to the GT3. But one thing that it is able to retain, one characteristic that it's able to retain is, oh, come on, man, is the front end. The front end is delicate because it is only rear-wheel drive. This front axle is unburdened, and it has the feel of the GT3. Just as delicate, just as sharp, and full of feel. Now this car has an aftermarket Akaprovich exhaust system. I think it's the full deal. So from all the way from the manifold to the tips. And even with it, it still feels pretty quiet, civilized. But I'm not sure if it's because of the exhaust system or not. This car doesn't really make any turbo sounds. Like if I compare it to the Turbo S, when you floor it, when it reaches a certain amount of revs, it starts to make this hissing noise, like the whoosh noise. But this car does not do that at all. It almost sounds NA, but if you've driven a GT3, you would know, okay, the NA sound of a Metzger engine is actually, it has a wail to it which this does not. But I'm not saying this doesn't sound good. It still sounds pretty good, but it just doesn't sound as good as the GT3. And the GT3 is still on stock exhaust. This is on aftermarket exhaust. If you put an aftermarket exhaust on the GT3, that will just sound like a cup car. That would be amazing, and I think I might just do that. Okay. Front end. Let's look at this front end. It's so tight and sharp. That is probably my favorite thing about this car. I say probably because it probably isn't as well. So what is the favorite thing about this car? Well, of course, it is the twin turbos. The twin turbos on this car is what makes it special. It's the defining factor of the GT2 is the fact that you basically put two turbos onto a GT3, and then you make it slightly wider, and you give it 500 horsepower. I mean, this car has 500 horsepower. Holy shit! And this car will absolutely embarrass the GT3 in terms of acceleration. Holy crap! It has this brutal level of acceleration that just the GT3 has no match, absolutely no match. definitely takes concentration. Now, they call this car the Widowmaker. Well, that's mainly because it's rear-wheel drive. It has a buttload of power, and it has no electronic nannies except for ABS. No traction control, no stability control. And if you are not experienced, you can really fuck up. But if you know what you're doing, this car is actually very easy to drive. Hugely predictable. It doesn't really want to kill you if you know what you're doing. But fuck, I just did 190. Oh, this thing is fast as heck, and the chassis is so communicative. Look, it's so fast my camera just fell off. Alright, let me mount it again. That is a first. That is a first. Sorry about this, guys. What the hell just happened? That's never happened before. Yo. Freaking fell off. How is that even possible? I am sorry about that. We're back at it. Okay, so the camera decided to fall off because of the brutal acceleration of this car. Whoa. Like I said, the rear tires are gone. Let's keep it in third here. I don't want to spin out. This car is too fast for this road. Shit, this thing is fast. You know, I've done this this little route endless of times, and it's not often I get scared. This thing is scary. Whoa. I am fully awake, fully concentrated. Let's be gentle here. Whoa. It's so easy to kick the tail out. It's just torque on demand with this car. Okay. Okay, take it easy. The camera is falling again. Never has this happened before. I'm sorry, guys. This is turning out to be a rubbish review because the car is just too violent. It's trying to kill me. He's trying to make a point. He's trying to remind me that it is the Widowmaker. Unfortunately for me, I am married and I don't want to make a widow, so let's be careful. I have to buy milk. Let's get some milk. Friends are coming, we're gonna have coffee, and I need to bring milk home. Oh my God. I really don't know what to say. It's just, this thing is insane. I love this car. Everything about it is just feels like a GT3. with way more power. Is that a good thing? Well, of course. Of course it's a good thing. But if you don't know what you're doing, you could get into a lot of trouble with this car. GT3, it's a good learner's car. If you're not so experienced, it's a great car. This car takes concentration and skills. I cannot imagine driving this in the wet. It must be scary. See if this works. Nice. Okay, let's get some milk. Maybe some fuel too. But if you slow down, you drive it civilized. I mean, fuck that. This car is not about being civilized. Front end is lightning fast. And you can provoke the steering with the throttle pedal as well, because there's just so much torque. You can really kick the tail out. Second gears, sometimes even in third, depending on how much grip you have on the pavement. You can tighten the turn with the throttle pedal. It's truly amazing. And this powertrain is just so smooth. You're reminded that this flat six is one of the best. Very refined. Okay, we're at the gas station. Should I walk into 7-Eleven with this thing on my head? Buying milk? Is that too weird? Are they gonna look at me weird? Probably, but would be good footage, I guess. No, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that. Oh shit! I forgot my wallet. I forgot my wallet. That means I can't pay for anything. So let's just head back, come back out with my wallet so I can get milk. Okay. No problem though, because that just means I get to drive this car more. I'm sorry, I'm not really being in depth with this review because I've already reviewed quite a lot of 996s, and if you want to learn more about 996s, just go watch my other videos. Fucking hell. And the suspension is great because he has Öhlins DFVs fitted. And it just soaks up everything. I have to keep reminding myself the tires on this are in no condition to be driving like this. But it's hard. This car just constantly tempts you to drive like a dick. This car is evil. It's one of the most evil cars that I've driven. It's powerful, it's edgy, it's just brutal. Brakes are great, ceramics. On this car, the pads are going though. It's so hard to drive this like a civilized person. Oh, this car should be illegal. Absolutely illegal. This is probably the least descriptive I have been in reviewing a car. Because this car has left me speechless. Absolutely speechless. How did they... This level of performance from 20 years ago, unimaginable. I'm not sure how good the tire technology was back then, but on road tires, with this kind of power, with tires from 20 years ago, okay, I can see why they call it the Widowmaker. I can see that now. All right, I'm gonna end the video right here, and then get some milk for my friends. Anyway, I don't think this is a very good video, but I had fun. I certainly had fun. So thanks for joining me. Thanks, guys. See you guys later. Bye.